Hi guys, it's Gabby, and this is Just Designed. Today I'm making a video as to the reasons as to why you shouldn't get a horse. I know this is probably not the video you want to see, probably not the video you want to hear, but the truth hurts sometimes, and horses are often neglected, and they're often mistreated. To avoid this, it's better to just skip the problem entirely and not buy the horse. A lot of people get into phases of loving horses and wanting horses, especially parents getting children horses. That's a whole other video I could make. But horses are a huge responsibility. And in this video, I hope to shed some light onto that. And especially in today's America, more and more people are regretting getting their horses due to inflation, price changes, and political reasons. So I really hope that this video can help you negotiate in 2025 later if this video decides to pop off, which the YouTube algorithm, I can never tell. I know that there's probably going to be a lot of people who go into the pony phase this year. So yes, this is the reasons as to why you shouldn't get a horse. Disclaimer, I am someone who doesn't have a horse at this current moment. All of this research is done from years and years of hard work of looking into horses as to the reasons as to why I don't want a horse. I'm only 25 and this is a video that I'm making for myself too, because I really want to get a horse someday, but it is something that I really have thought over, and I don't think I'm going to be getting a horse anytime soon. And if I do, it's probably going to be later in life when I'm more mature, when I'm settled into my career, when I'm settled into my home life. And there's just multiple reasons as to why people don't have horses. So a lot of people will kind of make fun of horse girls that don't have horses and be like, oh, you guys don't know anything because you don't have any horses. When usually it's the opposite. Usually we know a lot about horses, and the reasons we don't have horses is because of the reasons I state in this video. It isn't just a hobby. This is a livelihood. This is a horse's livelihood. It's your own livelihood, and it's also a huge responsibility that I just don't understand why there's this huge thing in the horse world where people just buy horses. Like it's a huge responsibility, and it's something that people should look into before they decide to do it. So this is the video. Thank you so much for watching. Again, no offense to anyone. This is just the data that I've collected over the years, and it's the most prominent things that I think people should think about. All right, a big issue in the horse community specifically is the turnover rate. People will get animals, get horses, bring them into their lives, okay, whether it's through boarding or they have a farm or they have a place to put the horse and they think, okay, I like horses, I like to ride, I want to have a horse. And so they'll get the animal, realize how big of a commitment and expense it is, and then realize they can't take care of the animal. So they get rid of it. They get rid of the horse, and then the horse is stuck in limbo between owners, between people, or sometimes they just end up in the wrong spot, and sometimes that's a death sentence for them. Get into the reasons of why you shouldn't get a horse if you're thinking about getting one. It is a huge expense. Having a horse is not just a couple $1,000s at the beginning of its life and then not having to pay for more money. I mean, it's basically, horses are walking wallets. Like they literally love your money. Like it is such an expensive thing, okay? And you can break down the expenses and think you have it all figured out, and then you find out that it's even more expensive than you thought originally. Do cost thousands of dollars depending on the breed, what you want to do with that horse, and also your property. A lot of people get miniature ponies and they think that it isn't going to be that big of an expense. And even miniature ponies is about the size of a Great Dane dog. They still cost a lot of money. They still cost thousands of dollars. They still need a pasture to run around in. They still need enrichment in their day-to-day lives. They still eat a lot of money, and they still need vet care. So vet bills specifically can range in price, but you have to think about hauling costs. You also have to think about vet care, food, obviously, enrichment, so getting horses their treats or their toys, or also you have the idea of taking them into a turnout every single day because you don't want to keep your horse locked up in a stall, which we'll get later into this video. And you also want to make sure that you're getting the proper tack and equipment if you're going to ride that horse. This is going to be a lot of money that you're pouring into this animal. And if that's something that you really truly feel that you can handle, then by all means have the animal. If you're rich and you feel that you can afford to take care of this animal for 25 years or more, then by all means, if you feel you have checked off all the other lists that I decided to talk about in this video, maybe you're responsible enough to have a horse. Don't have that money just laying around. And if I did, honestly, I would probably put it towards something else, because having a horse is much more than just the expense. Management. Horses take up a lot of time. Okay, so it's not just going out to the stall 2 to 3 times a week and mucking out some stalls or picking its hooves and taking it on a ride. There's much more that goes into horse management than just a 2 to 3 time a week affair. This horse needs your time like any other pet that you might have. This horse needs 7 days a week, 24/7. They are in your care. They need your responsibility. In an emergency, you can get to your horse in a reasonable time, and not only that, your horse is always in your management. Your horse is not somebody else's responsibility. So if your horse is having a medical emergency and you can't get there in the time allotted, nobody else is going to help that animal. Nobody else is going to be the one to take care of that animal. So if you have to be at your horse in, say, a couple minutes, or if you live a couple minutes away from it, that you can still get to your horse in time in case of a medical emergency. I know so many people who have horses and they live 20-30 minutes away from the barn. And I always think, what would happen if your horse was choking? What would happen if you can't get to your horse in time, if your horse breaks its leg, heaven forbid, or something worse? And even with colic, this is a big responsibility that I don't think people really think about before they decide to get the horse. They just, when it happens, freak out, and then they try and get to the animal and they hadn't get there in time, and something really bad happens. If you look at the anatomy of a horse, you see all of their weight is on these teeny tiny little legs, and they like to run around, and they like to play, and they like to be spunky, and they like to do things that are dangerous. Horses love to be playful, but when they are playful, they are also dangerous. So yes, time management is a big thing. Also, we have to think about the enrichment of the animal as well. Horses love to play. I just talked about it. So they love to have enrichment outside. They cannot live in a stall 3 days out of the week. They have to be out and turn out most of the time. Horses cannot live in stalls. Stalls are prisons to horses. I see so many people keep their horse in a stall and think that the horse is neurotic or the horse is crazy, the horse is this or that or that. No, your horse has pent up energy that they need to take out every single day. They have to run, they have to stretch their legs, they have to graze. That is what they're built for. They are not built to be put in a cage and just every once in a while go outside. You have to have the proper allotted land for that animal, and you also have to let them have their time outside. So yes, horses take a lot of time. Grooming takes a lot of time as well. It's not just like taking your dog to the vet to get its nails trimmed, or, you know, taking it to the groomer, let them do it. No, horses, unless you have a lot of money, don't typically have groomers, and that's up to you to do. So if your horse is finicky about certain areas of their body not being touched, you have to desensitize that to them, and horses also require a lot of training. So it really depends on how much time and how much experience you have. But if you don't have a lot of experience in training a 1,500-pound animal, you might have to hire someone to help you with that. And that's another expense. So it's always going to cost a lot of money, but it is also going to take a lot of your time. So horses do quite frequently become your whole entire life. Once you become an equestrian, it is your life at that point. You don't just get that animal and then you realize it's a lot of work. And even when it is 15 degrees outside, or when it is 80 to 90 degrees outside and it's freezing cold or really extremely hot, you still have to go out and take care of your horse. It is not just when you feel like it. It is a disciplined job. And that's why I really don't understand why people think that they can just get this animal and then skip all of the other steps. 3, danger. Horses are dangerous, okay? Horses are really dangerous. For you and your health, and for their horse, and for your horse's health, both are very dangerous. Horses hurt themselves quite frequently, and also if your horse is not trained, it can really hurt you, like really bad. You could lose your life over a horse, okay? So for me, I don't want to take that risk at my time in life right now. Maybe when I'm a little bit more matured and I have more money and that sort of thing, maybe I can consider it. But right now, I don't want to take that risk. Be really dangerous. They can bite, they can kick, they can rear up, they can buck you off, and sometimes it's accidents that happen, and it's not even that the horse meant to hurt you or they meant to take a person's life. Most of the time it's just they end up hurting themselves, and in that case hurting you as well. So riding horses is very dangerous, and that's why equestrians usually try to tell people to wear helmets, because you never know what can happen. And if you're jumping horses, barrel racing, horse racing is very dangerous for the rider and for the horse, but cross country, anything that has to do with the horse running or doing something extreme is very dangerous for you. I mean, even if you're just walking your horse every once in a while, like in the paddock, the horse can spook, the horse can get scared, throw you off, and boom, you break your neck, or something really bad happens. Even if you don't lose your life, you can most definitely end up with broken bones, pulled muscles, and sore body. I mean, it's just, horses cause a lot of health issues for yourself as well. A lot of horse riders, if they're not doing it properly, can end up with back issues or end up with hip issues. It's just, if you don't know what you're doing, you can get hurt. So keep that in mind. This is not just an animal that you can hop on and think that it's all glitters and rainbows. This is taking your life into your own hands. And a lot of people don't think about that when they get onto a horse. They think, oh, this is really fun, I really enjoy this activity, and then they get hurt. And then they think, oh shit, that was actually a lot worse than I thought it could be. And equestrians really are that gal or that guy, because they will still, even after getting thrown off a horse multiple times, still get up and decide to ride the horse because they love their horse and they want what's best for their horse. So yeah, I really do commend equestrians for that. That is a really, really crazy thing to do. It is, but at the same time, I totally get it. Like, horseback riding is my favorite activity in the world. I would love to be able to still ride horses, but due to my health condition and also other issues, I don't ride horses anymore. But number 4, lifestyle restrictions. So having horses is a lifestyle change. It is not just having a pet. This is something that you have to manage your whole entire day around. This is something you have to manage your whole entire life around. So if you are looking for an easy life, the horses are not for you. If you're looking to just go and, you know, have a 9 to 5 and then go see your horse for a couple hours and then come home to your nice, warm, comfy home with your dog or your cat and your husband or your wife and maybe a kid, that's not gonna work. And, you know, sometimes people can make it work, but it is really difficult to make it work like that. A lot of the times, your horse has to come first. And so if you decide that you want to take off time from work to go on a vacation, you have to find someone to take care of your horse. And then you have to figure out how you're going to make money to be able to take care of that horse while you're away on vacation. So it isn't just, oh, I want to go to Bermuda and I can't take my horse with me, so I'm gonna have my friend watch it for a couple days that knows nothing about horses, and now suddenly my horse is in the pasture colicking because they fed him the wrong food. It's a lot of change, and having horses is a big lifestyle change. They also require a lot of attention, like we've already discussed, and they also are just big puppies in the end of the day. They really do love your attention. They want to be around you. They want to have a relationship with you. So if you think that you can just go home after your work day and then not see your horse, I mean, that's going to be sad for your horse. They really do enjoy time with you. So in order to keep a bond with your animal, you have to be able to rely time for that. And a lot of the time, people want to have this cushy lifestyle with their significant other or their kids, and they don't want to spend time with the animals, so they end up taking the horse away and getting rid of it to somebody else who has time for it. I don't think that people really realize that once you have a horse, that becomes your kid at that point. That is your responsibility at all times. And so having a horse is like having a kid, only I think it's much more expensive, and also it is something that you have to be really, really, really passionate about. It has to be something that you could think about all the time, and also at the same time manage your normal life as well, because you can't just manage the horse all of the time and then let your other things go by the wayside. I mean, people don't really think about this, but they think, oh, I have the money for a horse, but then they don't think about the fact that you still have to pay rent on your apartment, or you still have to pay mortgage on your house, you still have to pay your car payment, you still have to pay for food and groceries for yourself. You can't neglect yourself in order to take care of the horse. So you have to be able to manage a lot of things at once, and it's a big, big job. So some people are really good at doing that and other people aren't. If you have ADHD like me, it's maybe a little bit difficult to do. Is you have to make sure that you have the area for a horse. So if you board somewhere, you have to make sure that it isn't too far away from you, like we've already discussed, but also you have to make sure that the property is safe. You have to make sure that the property is large enough for your horse, and also that there are other horses there that your horse can have friends with or be able to graze with, have a pasture friend. Okay, these horses that live by themselves are usually very depressed, and horses are grazing animals that like to be in a herd. They like having friends and family. They cannot be by themselves. So usually it's better to have a place that allows other horses to be there. So boarding is usually what a lot of equestrians do, because the other horses aren't your responsibility, yet your horse still has someone to hang out with. However, if you do have a area that you're going to keep your horse at, it is recommended that you have another horse with that horse. But then again, people can't afford more than one horse usually, so they usually just keep the one horse by itself, which is kind of sad because your horse likes to have company. And when you're not there, it needs someone to be able to have that company with. It has to be free from any dangers, like certain plants that horses can't eat. You have to make sure that the lawn is being treated correctly. You have to make sure that the surrounding area doesn't have any threats to it, certain animals. You have to make sure that the barn that you're keeping your horse in is being taken care of regularly. I mean, these are all things that people neglect when they first go to get a horse, and that's usually why they end up getting rid of it, because they don't take the time to look at these things. And then when they go to try and look at these things, they realize that it was a bad idea. Anyway, I hope that video wasn't too depressing or too upsetting for you guys. But at the same time, I think a lot of people need to think about this when they go to get a horse. These are some realistic things for you to think about before getting a horse. I hope that this video helped. If you're thinking about getting a horse, please do your research before doing. If you're watching this video, you are doing a certain type of research. So I do appreciate the people who are thinking about the responsibility before getting the animal. Animals deserve your time. Animals deserve your respect. Please take care of the animals that you have. I might do another video with dogs, because dogs and cats are also regularly taken advantage as well. So I might make a video about them as well. But horses are very neglected a lot of the time. It's very sad. Also with riding, people don't really know what they're doing. I can't really discuss that because I wouldn't say that I'm a very good rider or an expert rider by any means. I'm just someone who really loves horses and has done their research. And these are just some of the reasons as to why I don't own a horse, and honestly don't want a horse in this time of my life. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video helped. Please love your animals, and I will see you later. Bye.